What I really like about the data that's being provided to us this year is I feel like we're zooming in. That zoom button on roadmaps and Google Maps now, we're going to be able to look at those fine details and then use that information to help us grow our students from point A to point B.
Teachers and educators around the state will be able to exhale because they will be much more familiar with the assessments. They'll feel much more prepared. They will have had 2, maybe 3 years of professional development. I think things will go much more smoothly next year and in the future.
State assessments are not the most important thing that happens all year. In fact, when we look at our instructional year, it's really just a small portion of the time. But it's important to have some measure, some target to try to align our instruction to.
We are going to treat this data as a data point and a data reference. We still have other data points such as our progress monitoring, our anecdotals, our walkthrough, our work with DTSD, our work with style. We think that this data is important.
When we receive our New York State assessment data, we'll take a look at how we're measuring against the standards. How are we doing? In terms of going up or going down, I think we don't want to put too much emphasis on that. We want to put the emphasis on our progress towards reaching the standards, our progress towards implementing the Common Core curriculum.
So it's one measure that helps us really kind of take the pulse of how our implementation is going with the Common Core learning standards. Looking at that data, to be able to analyze that data and say, geez, are we here with Common Core standard implementation, and where do we need to grow, and what are our strengths?
The assessment material that's coming out is valuable to us because it will allow us to guide principals in designing professional development plans in the fall and continuing into the school year that addresses the depth of knowledge that's a hallmark of the Common Core learning standards.
It really is more diagnostic in nature to help us make a good informed decision, but we're going to pull from other areas to help us make those good informed decisions.
We're using those tests as just a benchmark along the way. One piece of assessment data that we have, along with all the other pieces of data that we have.
I believe the assessments are just a part of us when we're at a marathon. You've trained so hard. It's just the ability to show what we know. And the Common Core is just the makeup of all that. It's applying what we know in a result where we can prove to everyone that we have learned beyond what we started with.
The data, as indicated by the state assessments, gives us an idea of where we need to focus our efforts, but we're looking at the value-added measure. We're looking at the growth of our students, how much growth was made as compared to how much growth wasn't made in the work that we need to continue to do.
No matter what the score results are, we know that our teachers worked hard and had high expectations of our students, and we're confident that our students did their best work.
They are a slice in time, but it's with meaning. Who wouldn't want to know how much you've grown from one year to the next in any endeavor that you might have?
The state test, I mean, it doesn't affect her grade. I mean, she took the test, she was not nervous, she did her best, and that's all you can ask for.
This information, particularly with the questions and in the reports that are coming out, will help us get a true picture of where we are and build a plan to improve our performance.